Hello, today we've got a guest who marked Messi in the Champions League as Forest close in on Europe and Wembley. It's 2 wins in 3, but it's still not comfortable for Mansfield Town. And forget about tariffs, Notts County signed their first ever American as the promotion shuffle continues in League 2. I'm Mark Shardlow, welcome along to Team Talk. And welcome along if you're watching on TV, on demand or on YouTube. You're very welcome to be with us here on Team Talk. We're well and truly into crunch time and it's all steam ahead to the end of the season. As usual, I'm joined by my trusty sidekick, the former Notts striker and manager, Forest coach, now part of the coaching staff at Mansfield Town. It's Charlie McParland. And this week we're joined by Forest and Notts County centre half who knows all about the Champions League for his time at Celtic. It's Kelvin Wilson. When you were in the Champions League, what was it like when you heard the first note of the Champions League anthem?
Yeah, surreal, really. I think a lot of people ask me what are my favourite moments in football. Obviously, winning titles are what you play for, but being a young lad and watching the Champions League over the years, I remember that first time of lining up against Benfica. That was my first game in the Champions League. It was just a bit, surreal, dream come true kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like...
Because you must have watched it as a kid and you heard the anthem, and the anthem's just iconic, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. Just hearing that song come on is unreal. The feeling is like it gives you more energy.
Yeah.
You know, like a burst.
As a player, yeah?
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. It's special nights. Special nights.
I was at the game when Glasgow Celtic played Barcelona that night.
Yeah, I was there.
I took my lad up.
Yeah.
I took my lad up, and Celtic were brilliant, and so was Kelvin. To be fair, you have to be doing a good job when you beat Barcelona, right? And you keep
Messi quiet.
And you keep Messi quiet.
Yeah.
So that is like what the atmosphere was frightening.
Oh,
I know the Celtic nights at Parkhead are frightening, but that was unbelievable.
I think I seen something on that. I seen Messi say it was probably the best atmosphere that he's ever played, and that's come from Messi. Yeah. And then I watched Vincent Kompany say just the other week about Celtic, because they played Celtic, didn't they, Bayern Munich. He said that it's in the top 3 nights he's had at Celtic in football as well, atmosphere-wise. So yeah.
But hey, we're talking about the Champions League. Yeah. This time last year, we were talking about relegation and Luton Town and all that. And then Forest, playing last night and strengthening their fight for a Champions League spot thanks to a battling win over Manchester United at the City Ground. Anthony Elanga haunted his former club by running 85 metres in just 9 seconds before gliding the ball past Andre Nana to score the only goal of the game. The win lifted Forest 8 points clear of the top 4 rivals Chelsea, 9 over Manchester City. They've got midweek games to come. Speaking after the match, goalscorer Elanga said they need to keep pushing on, and he reacted to that long run and finish.
It was a nice goal from me, but honestly, if I have to say something, it's Murillo's block at the end. That's probably the star of the show for me, because that's probably worth more than a goal. Do you know what I mean? And at that moment, I'm just thinking it's early on in the game. Let me just go for it and just test them out and just get to the goal. Their goal as quick as I can, and when I get there, just try and stay composed as I can. And I could shoot with either foot, whether it's left foot or right foot. So it's just about picking a corner and just staying composed and finding the back of the net, which I did. Honestly, we just need to continue to win games, and if you win games, anything can happen at the end of the season. So all I can say is just like, played really well today, and let's just keep this going and, continue to chase greatness.
So if you'd have been one of those Manchester United defenders, what would you have done faced with someone who's running at almost the speed of Usain Bolt?
That early on, I would have let him know. I would have just brought him down.
Yes.
Without a doubt, yeah. I would have just one of them should have brought him down without a doubt.
The card,
because the worst thing about it as well, they know him. He was at the club, so they know how quick he is. He's probably top of the stats for running. So yeah, I think that'll be something that'll be mentioned in Manchester United team meetings. That why didn't you bring him down? But fair play to him though. He's a quick player, and I was at the game and I was screaming pass. And he went alone and he took it really well.
What do you think of the game last night then, Charlie? I mean, it was a different sort of Forest performance, thrilling. They ground out the 3 points.
I don't listen. I'm not complaining. A clean sheet, a 1-0. It's what you dream of as a manager. But Forest, I don't think were at their best last night. But they've still went and beat Manchester United. Yes, it's not the Manchester United of old, but they got the job done. And like Kelvin says, if you're the manager and you all do your homework, you know. And I'm saying to them, like, if he gets on a run, as long as you're not last man of that, take one for the team. So if you got somebody who takes one for the team, that goal doesn't happen. Yeah. I know it's the dark arts, but that's the name of the game. There's big things at stake here. But honestly, what a run. The goal of the season, you have to take your hat off to the young lad. And he was really humble at the end of it. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, fantastic. And I thought, yeah, Forest were hanging on at the end, and I thought they could have, in certain times in the game, you know, Gibbs White has broke through, 2 minutes to go. This was actually an injury time. Just take it in the corner. Yeah. You know, just be a wee bit wise. Get it in the corner, you might win a corner, you might win a throw-in. Or if they win it back, it has to go back to a goal kick. You all regroup, get set up, goalie kicks it forward, you get going again. It just invites them to put it in your box.
But this was a performance about character. For me, you know, you've got no Chris Wood, which we know is a big blow. You lost Ola Aina quite early on. Callum Hudson-Odoi didn't play. 3 key players this season. It was and also coming off the back of Saturday when there were 120 minutes plus extra time plus penalties on the south coast. I thought it showed character last night.
Yeah, I think it was like Chaz said. I was at the game as well. It wasn't the best of games. But it's job done. I think it's the business end of the season now, especially where Forest are as well, and other teams that are down near the bottom. It's just get the job done, get the points on the board. Win by all means, basically, and that was the case last night. I'm not saying Forest were terrible, but
they got the job done.
Yeah, they got the job done.
Like you see all these teams that had 75%, like
yes,
25 shots. Who cares? It doesn't matter how you win, just win. But in Forest, what Forest have got is togetherness.
Yeah,
all through the squad.
Yeah, and a manager who's making good calls. What a call again last night, changing formation before half time.
He strikes gold every time.
Yeah.
I think there's only maybe 2 times this season where it's not quite well. The manager of Nottingham Forest, I'd give him manager of the year now.
I think he will get that.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 different ones. If Slot wins the league, he'll get it. But there's one where ex-managers get a vote, for another. And normally what I vote for is the teams with the less budgets and who are doing well. But Nuno's getting my vote first class for another one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say caution because they've not in the Champions League yet. They've not in an FA Cup final yet. I'm just saying the job needs to be finished.
Yes, but even so, I would for Forest to achieve what they've achieved this season after fighting for their lives. Yeah, they had 4, 5, 6 points deducted. Yeah, fighting for their life last year. This change in the way he's set his team up, and the way he's got them playing, the way he's got the togetherness in the squad, he's got the momentum, he's got a way of playing, and his calls when he's leaving players out and putting players in, and when he's changed shape a bit, it's normally worked.
Yeah, no denying that. Let's have a look at the table then, Kelvin, and see what you make of this. Still handily placed there. Still can't believe that it's still third, 4 points behind Arsenal. We've got the midweek games, so it's hard to know where Chelsea, Manchester City, Newcastle and Brighton will be in the next 48 hours or so as we record this on a Wednesday. How do you read it?
Me and Chaz were talking off camera. I think if Tottenham beat Chelsea tonight, I think obviously we've still got a few games to play, but it's looking likely that I think Forest can hold on to that. Obviously Man City are still there as well, but I think with the run of games that Forest have got, the momentum we've got. I think with football players, you play off confidence. That's when you play your best football, and when you're happy as well. You want to go into it, and that's what it seems with Forest. They just wanted to keep ticking off every game, and they're turning up. They're getting the job done in every game. We said, I think it came on a month or so ago, would you take the FA Cup or the top 3? It could be both.
Could be both. Let's have a look at the next few fixtures then. You mentioned the run that's coming up. These are the league fixtures, and Forest in form at the moment with 3 wins out of 3. How do you feel about when we look at Villa? Striking form, Everton since Moyes has come, better form, Spurs, players are coming back, Palace, Leicester looks like the easy one there, but they could be down by then.
I think looking at that myself, I think Villa, obviously it's Champions League, so they're going to have one eye on that. So that could be their downfall. They're a good side though. Everton, I know people probably say that's the bank. I don't think it is. I think they've turned the corner with David Moyes, so that could be a tough one. I think the other 3, Spurs, again, you don't know what you're going to get from Spurs. But looking at all of them, I'm confident. I think.
Do you think 3 wins can do it?
I think it will. Yeah.
Yep.
I think 3.
And
wins.
if you look at if you can go, you take a point at Villa now.
Yes.
Everton at home. Moyes will have a plan up his sleeve, and they'll be hard to break down. Spurs again away. You get Spursy, and for it, it's ideal. They hold that high line, they press really in, they're at you, and they leave wide open gaps. Good play into Forest's hands. Palace, good side, really good side. They've got match winners in there. And again, Leicester, you'd like to put your... So it's there for the taking. And what they've got is, and every week is you fancy Forest to win every week.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
You fan going into the game, you're not going, I'm worried about that, I'm worried about you fancy Nottingham Forest to get a result every week.
But the thing with that as well, as a player going into games like that, as you know,
they think that as well.
And you do. You go in and you're telling yourself, yeah, we'll win today.
So confidence.
Yeah.
Amazing. Right, that's all for now, but after the break we'll be turning our attention to Nottingham Forest's FA Cup ambitions after they secured their place in the FA Cup semi-finals at the weekend, and we're also going to be looking at Nottingham Forest Women 2 after the break. Hello and welcome back to Team Talk with myself, Mark Shardlow, joined as usual by Charlie McParland, and the former Forest and Notts defender Kelvin Wilson is with us today too. We've spoken about Forest Champions League ambitions, but now on to the Cup. That's after they guaranteed their first FA Cup semi-final in 34 years. The Reds travelled to Brighton knowing a win would book a place at Wembley, and got there in a fashion that's becoming all too familiar this season through a penalty shootout. But before that, they saw a spot kick awarded for a foul on Elliot Anderson overturned by VAR in normal time, but neither side was able to break the deadlock in extra time too. During the shootout, keeper Matt Sells and captain Ryan Yates were the heroes who helped Forest into the semis and a clash with Manchester City. After the game, head coach Nuno was happy to make history.
Yeah, it was a long and stressful night for all of us, but we are so happy now. All of us. Forest is living, I will say, a dream. Seeing our fans like we saw them, there's nothing better. If we look back at the game by himself, without the shootout or the penalties, first half I think we were in control. We had a good defensive shape. It's very difficult to control Brighton. I think we were unable to do it. In the second half, when we made the changes, I felt that the space was there. We had clear chances to go, and then it's overtime. Anything can happen. Comes the fatigue, comes the tiredness. And in the end, was Brighton having the chances. But overall, in terms of performance, I think the boys did it really well.
I swear his smile gets broader every week, and lots to smile about there.
Unbelievable. I thought Forest were brilliant for the 90 minutes. I thought they were excellent. They were a far better team. And
I thought Gary Lineker was pretty harsh. I was watching it on the TV.
Well, don't listen to Gary Lineker. Okay. Who cares? Who cares that way? Just listen to what we're saying here.
Yeah, fair enough.
I thought they were excellent.
Yeah.
In extra time, they've had a couple of chances. Sells made a save, but again, resilient, togetherness, and I thought Ryan Yates was excellent in the 90 minutes. Then when he stepped up to take the last penalty with that pressure and slotted it, well done. Absolute brilliant. And again, the juggernaut keeps rumbling on.
Yeah,
I thought they were fantastic.
I'm going to ask you about Ryan Yates. I think he's I've written 4 names of players down here that fans have given pelters to over the last 18 months or so, and Chris Wood they started off with, and to be fair to you, you've always backed Chris Wood, but there were fans who wanted him out of the club just a year or so ago. Anthony Elanga at the start of this season, fans were calling for Jota Silva to go there. Matt Sells, they wanted Miguel, the big Brazilian, in there. You know, there's a big sort of move on social media, and Ryan Yates too. And fair enough, you know, you've had your doubts about Ryan Yates. I think he's been his form over the last 3 months or so has been terrific. And last night I thought he epitomised the fighting spirit of Forest. And your old buddy, Martin O'Neill, at the end of the game, I don't know if you saw Martin go on the TV at the end of the game.
I did, yeah.
Give him praise for Ryan being the first training every day, the last to leave every day, the total attitude.
What has got Ryan Yates where he is today is his commitment.
Yeah.
Right, and like you say, and this is a lesson for young players who might not have the same ability as another player in the team. If you get out in that training ground and you give it your lot, you get as fit as you can, you keep practicing on your good stuff, and you keep gnawing away at what you're not so good at, you can actually make a living out of the game. And what Ryan Yates did last night was he just wanted to get inside Fernandez's head.
And he did.
And he did. He went and booted him. He should have been booted earlier, Ryan Yates. And he was throwing himself and getting blocks. That's what he does. He falls over, he gets a free kick, he annoys the opposition, he breaks up the momentum. Yeah. And sometimes that is needed in the game, and he did that last night. My man in the match last night was Nico Williams. I thought that lad was fantastic. I really, you know, he changed. He's right-footed, but he went to right back, and he was brilliant.
But doesn't the sort of Ryan Yates thing show in Forest this season that actually, if you train harder than everyone else, if you stick to your plan, there are things that without necessarily having the elite ability, the ultra elite ability that you can do as a team and a collective, if you do it to the best possible level, that you can achieve?
Yeah, I think with Ryan Yates, you know, he knows what he is. He's accepted what his game is, what he's good at. And he's not tried to complicate. He's not got carried away. He's not thought, right, I'm in the Premier League for the third season. I'm a Premier League player now. I can try and spray it and do Stevie Gerrard pass. He hasn't. He's always stuck to what he's good at. I don't want to say he's just good at winding players up, but you know, he's really good at it. He's good at putting his body on the line and things like that. I've thought about this with Ryan Yates, and you know, you talk about football as it's an entertainment business, and your entertainers are your Gibbs White, your Elangas, your Elliot. These are your entertainers. These are going to get the fans buying the shirts with their names on the back. Your business side, I think, is your Yates. You put Yates in there to go and make them blocks that he did last night, where fans aren't. Yeah, they'll cheer, but they're not going to really talk about them. So that's the only way I can kind of put it with Ryan Yates, which is
it's part of a team. You've got somebody to go and win the ball, right? He's not going to play forward, silky passes, split open. Can't play in tight areas, but annoys the opposition, wins you free kicks, gets blocks. And we spoke about a player. The player is got the ability he had the most ability of young players I've ever worked with.
Yeah,
went on to make a living in the game, but he didn't fulfil his potential.
Didn't do the other side, yeah.
He had more ability and lots of players, and he was one big tool.
Yep.
And he should have played for England. I mean, full international. And I worked with him for a young lad coming all the way up. But because
which is another former Forest player.
Yes.
Yeah. And if he had stayed on the training pitch from like Yates and that, and wanted to run like Yates, and what a star he would have been.
Yeah.
100%, and that's Yates has shown that having that side, you know, obviously
It gets you a limit and high level Premier League.
Yeah.
So for the FA Cup semi-final, though, you mentioned Nico Williams. Nico is suspended. Yates suspended. We've got Wood injured. Aina injured last night.
I'm hoping Ainas and Woods are going to be.
It's close, but on the flip side, Haaland's going to be out injured for Manchester City. How do you see this semi-final going?
I think people say, "Oh, would you prefer Bournemouth or Man City?" And people say, "Oh, we've played against Bournemouth this year." No, Man City. Let's not get it twisted. Man City are struggled this year, but they're a team that can turn it on and off. That's what they are. They've got that much talent. So to go into it thinking, and their experience in these situations, being in semi-finals, have played, you know, it's the first time for us, and people say, yeah, but it's not like a Premier League game. It's a one-off game to get to the final of the cup, FA Cup. So Man City will know how to manage that. The players have been there X amount of times. So let's not just think, oh, because Man City are where they are now, they've been all season. They've got to win something. They have to win something this year. You know, Pep Guardiola will be under pressure. The Man City, they've spent how much money in this, and they've got certain players. So that'll be their bread and butter now. Obviously, to finish in the the Champions League as well is going to be important for them. But to win a trophy, and the only one they can win is the FA Cup. So it's going to be tough. So with them players missing, without Forest with their full strength squad, it will be hard. It will be hard with the full strength squad, but with players missing, it will be double hard, yeah.
And I seen bits of that game against Bournemouth, and some of the pundits and that were saying in the first half, like Man City weren't quite at it. Man City had 4 big chances in the first half. 3 of them fell to Haaland, and they didn't take them. And I've seen signs of Man City coming back in that game to what they can be. And God forbid it, like if Man City won the FA Cup and finished 4th, people saying it's a bad season for them.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
So this is the standards that this football club team set. Yeah. So, but again, Forest, they don't fear them. They go in and go toe to toe.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, what a time to be a Forest fan at the moment. And it's not just the men; it's the women too. Although they were held to a surprise 1-1 draw at home to Hull, to had a little wobble in their title hopes. Here's some action. Forest taking a 1-0 lead into half-time through this excellent strike by Holly Manders. And they also controlled big parts of the match. But they were pegged back in the second half when Hull equalised through a header from this set-piece. The result means that Forest are still top of the table, level on points with Wolves, who've played an extra match. And for Forest, there are just 3 games left to play in the league this year. Can they do it? You spoke to the manager this week, the Forest women's manager?
Yes, I was over at St George's Park. We took our boys down there, and a lot of the women's team managers were down there doing coaching sessions, and they used our boys for the 11v11. And I had a chat with her, and she put a session on, and she was very good, really good. And she was a bit disappointed in the result Saturday, but without being overconfident, she's quietly confident that she can win a couple of games. Yeah. And get over the line, so that would be great. And she's won the League Cup, her and her team, and I've invited her on our programme, which would be really nice if they can tie the league up, and we can get her to come on here and talk about a season with the women's team, with a league title and also the League Cup.
And how do you manage the situation? Because they should have beaten Hull. You know, when you look at the form over the season and the positions in the table, it feels like, oh, you're getting close. You've got to get over the line. How as a player, as a manager, do you approach that?
I think when it's tight, and you want it to kind of come to an end. You know, you look at the games and you're going into it confident, but there's always that doubt in your head. And I think that's good to have that doubt in your head, so it doesn't make you switch off completely, like to think that you've won it. So, yeah, if they're experienced players, you know, you see it out. It's a bit like last night's game, Forest game. Just get the job done. Might not play well, and the manager will say that as well. You know, obviously she's going to want them to play well, but the main thing is the business end of the season. Get the job done.
Don't change anything.
Don't change anything. Yeah.
What's brought you success all season? Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing what you're doing, it's brought you success all season. It's like, yeah, that's the way to go.
The thing is, though, at this stage as well, Chaz, as you know, some players will overthink it because you're thinking, all right, we're nearly there.
It's a wee bit extra pressure.
I might need to do this and try things or try too hard, and then, you know, you sometimes sacrifice other things and leave yourself open.
Again, Kelvin was talking about having a little bit about fun in the training and all that, because that's the way you play.
Keep it fun.
That's a custard pie. Time for the break.
As you're doing, right. Good luck, Forest women. Right, after the break, we're turning our attention to Notts County and Mansfield Town. And for Mansfield, what do their mixed results mean as they try to secure the League One spot? Hello and welcome back to Team Talk with myself, Mark Shardlow, joined by Charlie McParland and Kelvin Wilson. We're turning our attention to Mansfield Town now, and they could be just a couple of wins away from securing their place in League One for another year. They've played twice since we last met, including a 2-1 win away at Bristol Rovers on Saturday. But on Tuesday they welcomed in-form Charlton to the one call and lost by the same scoreline. The Addicts took the lead after 22 minutes after a defensive error from the Stags put Maddie Godden through on goal. before Mansfield's Matthew Craig equalised 5 minutes before half-time with a fine strike from the edge of the box. But Tyrese Campbell held off his man to strike the ball past Christy Pym with 14 minutes left to play, securing all 3 points for promotion chasing Charlton. After the game, Nigel Clough said Mansfield were their own worst enemy and should have got more out of it.
General play, I thought the performance was very good, nothing wrong at all, just those mistakes that they've capitalised on. On Saturday, we benefited from the opposition making a couple. Tonight we've gifted them the first goal, which is highly unusual for us. We don't give those sorts of goals away. Certainly Reedy shouldn't be playing the ball, but Deji shouldn't be giving it him as well in that position. We don't do that sort of thing, which is why you don't see us concede those goals. So that was a bit frustrating, and then getting back into it before half-time. I thought we did well in the 15 minutes up to half-time. Deserved the equaliser, and I thought for large part of the second half, if anyone was going to get a winner, we were.
During the break, we've been looking at the Mansfield goals from the last 2 games, both for and against. Do you remember the old times when Scottish goalkeepers used to get ridiculed? And sorry to talk about Scotland, but we used to enjoy watching the errors from the lower leagues in Scotland. I mean, they were poor, some of those defensive errors there. Both Mansfield last night and Bristol Rovers at the weekend, which gifted the points to Mansfield.
Yeah, on Saturday, Bristol Rovers, like you say, made horrendous errors to give the Mansfield Town the goals. But what I was really pleased about with Mansfield Town on Saturday, they dug deep, those players. They battled, they headed it, they got blocks in, they're away from home. And yeah, they were gifted 2 goals, but they threw their bodies in front of the ball, they gave it a right go. The goals, and like Nigel, he speaks the truth, there's no, he'll be really annoyed with Deji giving the straight pass to Lewis Reed, and he's just played it back. He'd just clip it in behind and it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So he'll be, and like you say, they don't give goals away, and they're playing against one of the top teams, and they're well in the game. So, and we spoke about, I say, if they get 4 points out of these 2 games, either way, it's fantastic. So I think they could have got points last night, but again, a wee bit edgy at times, then other times they were toe-to-toe with Charlton Athletic.
Were you okay with me talking about Scottish goalkeepers? Because you gave me a bit of a dagger's look, I thought.
No, when you get that look from me, Matt.
Yeah,
right,
that's
like,
one of
them.
up. Yeah, is that one of them?
No, but
I recognised it. I thought I recognised it.
We're never blessed with the goalkeepers, but I do stick up for anything to do with Scotland.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I got that. All right, I'm told. When you see errors like that, you must, if you're on the same side as a fellow player, you must be so frustrated because Mansfield are desperate for the points, and Bristol Rovers, who gave away 2 goals, silly goals at the weekend, they're fighting for their lives too.
Yeah, especially the Charlton one. I think last night I think Nigel said he's mad at the player for giving him the ball as well. If that's not the way they play, then yeah, you don't do that, And the boy then passing it back, you might have to take it in if he's not sure and try and get a foul or do something. But it was a disaster. Yeah,
He's got his back to play.
Yeah.
He's not half turned to play for. He's got his back to play. Somebody uptight, and he's sort of panicked a little bit.
I think where Mansfield are in the league and they're playing against Charlton, who are a good side. Yeah, you turn it in behind. Or go and clip it into your front man there. Yeah, they've tried to play out, tried to be clever, a bit like. Bristol Rovers, they've kind of played against them, seen what they've done, and then gone and done the same kind of thing. So yeah, it's a bit.
How do you feel in the lower leagues about, or even in the higher leagues, I suppose, playing out from the back?
I'm a football purist, and since I've started my coaching journey, I've always wanted to play through the thirds, right? But only if it's on.
Yeah.
And only if you've got the players who are capable of playing out for the back. If you've got a couple of centre-halves who can't handle the ball, right, or full-backs, you don't give them it. You say, push out, we'll kick it, we'll fight the second ball. Because leopards and spots, all of a sudden, you're not going to make these 2 centre-halves. And this means for all the leagues, and give them the ball. Because the opposition will do their homework, they'll say, the centre-halves can head it, they can tackle, they can kick it, but they're not great on the ball. So we might set a trap for them. So we'll set a trap, we'll give them the ball, then we'll go and close them down. So, and you see it week in, week out in every league. And the prime example was Southampton in the Premier League this year. And I really felt sorry for the players because they weren't quite capable of getting out for the back. The manager kept doing it, and they lost a goal or two every week. And before you know it, they got hung out to dry and points behind the other teams. And like you say, you're better being safe than sorry. And even you see it in some Premier League games now. When they want to kick it long, they'll kick it long and fight it. And Forest have kicked it long. I've seen Manchester City do it, you know, and Kelvin touched on it. Real Madrid, seen them do it. So if it's not on, don't play out for the back, or the players are not quite capable of doing it.
I think that the teams are that obsessed, players, managers maybe, I don't know, are that obsessed with the playing out from the back now. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it, you know. It can cost you a goal, it can lose you a game. So you've got to do it with purpose. You know, you've got to have a pattern of play, right, this is what we do. And you walk through it in training. You know, we did it with Billy a lot and Chaz, so you pass it out to your right back and you're basically telling your right back what he's going to do in the next pass and where the next player is going to come from. So it's having that pattern of playing, you know what's going to happen. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it and then just, right, give it him off the cuff, right, let's just hope something happens here. You can't do that when you're in your final third, you know what I mean? In the final third of attacking, yes, your flair players come alive and you say to them, play off the cuff now, do what you want sometimes, but not in your final third of your own
It's decision making, Kelvin.
100%.
If it's the right decision to play that ball, play it.
Yeah.
If it's the right decision to play a short ball, or the right decision to play a long pass, or drop it into the striker, it's all about decision
And
making.
it all comes with the, you know, your weight of pass, the side of the pass, which side you play it. These little things that fans might not look at. You know, you play to the side where the defending player's coming to, or the weight of the pass. Do you fire it in, or do you take a bit off it so the player can come onto it so he can do it first time? There's all these things that come into factor as well.
And Mansfield scored a great goal with a young lad last night, got them back in the game.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that. And they're well in the game.
Yeah.
And they've started the game really well in the second half. And but football is who'd want to be a manager? Who'd want to be a manager?
Yeah. Well, Nigel Clough, he's done a fair few years of
No,
it.
and he's done pretty good.
Yeah, he's done pretty well. Let's have a look at the
Really
table
well,
and see where Mansfield are placed as we enter the last sort of 6 or 7 games. There they are, Bristol Rovers. Would have been they won again last night, didn't they, Bristol Rovers? So the results sort of went against Mansfield last night. The big one who's underneath the table there, 21st to 24th positions go down. Burton Albion played 39 points. So Mansfield have an 8-point cushion over Burton Albion with 7 games left. Burton to play Birmingham and Wrexham in the next couple of weeks too.
Well, listen, you want to look after your own business without depending on anybody else. But don't get me wrong, it's nice to get a little bit of help.
Yeah.
And hopefully they lose their next 2 games, and Mansfield get a win, right? And that's it. I think 51-52 shot. And I think 50 may do it, but you better be sure. Win 2 games.
I was going to say, yeah, don't rely on Burton's results. You know, that's the last thing you want to do. But like Chaz said, yeah, you do hope you get a little bit of help on the way.
But take care of your own business.
100%, yeah, first and foremost.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at 2 wins, I think, to be certain. Let's have a look at the next few fixtures and see what's coming for Mansfield Town then. Not easy, away at Huddersfield, and then another midweek game next week, home to Orient, before the Easter fixtures. Rotherham just sacked Steve Evans, and which is a shame because Mansfield Town always like a little bit of banter with Steve Evans, don't they?
That's not what you said before.
We all know what we think of Steve Evans, and especially Mansfield Town fans know what they think of Steve Evans and what he did a few years ago.
Yes.
So we're not going to go there. But
Okay, we won't go there. Man.
Yeah. But you'd look at the home games and the Rotherham games as places where hopefully you could take some points. And the last game of the season, Exeter at home, you'd hope that will be a 3-point game as well.
Well, hopefully by the end of the season, right, it's all done and dusted, and the lads can go out and relax a bit, you know.
Yeah.
And the managers can relax a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think Nigel will stay on, I wonder, at Mansfield Town? I mean, he's sort of... I think he's got an option at the end of the season. He started the season really well, then he's had this real struggle, and at times he said it's been the hardest time in his entire career, the last 2 or 3 months.
I don't know. I think it should be his choice.
Yeah.
I think Mansfield, I don't think they'll move him on. I think it should be his choice. You know, he's been there a couple of years now, and I think with Nigel, he stays at clubs for a long time. He's not one of them that just bounces around. You know, I've never played under him, but he'd have been someone that I would have liked to have played under, I think. You know, he comes across as, I like the kind of old school managers, I think. You know, you fear them a little bit, but you respect them as well. So I think it'll be his choice. I think he'll probably ask some questions. Will he get some new players in? Will he have the funds to bring some players in? Because it's a waste of time just going into a league thinking, right, let's just finish mid-table. There's no point. I don't know him personally, Chaz would probably tell you more. I don't think he's the type of manager that's just happy just to do that. Sure, he's got ambitions and would like to try and push for playoffs or automatic promotion. So I'm sure he'll have discussions with the board and see what their plans are, what their thoughts are, and if they're in line with his. And I don't see why he wouldn't stay on.
Yeah, he loves football, and like you say, you know, he likes staying in this area. He doesn't want to move too far.
Yeah,
it's a great fit for him, and he's done a great job there, so let's hope so.
Yeah.
Right, that's all for now, but after the break we'll be talking Notts County. Why are they playing better away than at home as they try to find a way to get promotion? After the break. Hello and welcome back to Team Talk with myself, Mark Shardlow, joined by Charlie McParland and Kelvin Wilson. Into League 2 now, and Notts County. As we record, they've yet to play MK Dons, a Wednesday evening match. Their promotion rivals are dropping points all over the place, so who knows what's going to happen in this division. But looking at what they've done themselves, Notts secured a 2-0 win away at Newport on Saturday. Charlie Whittaker got both goals for Stuart Maynard's side in South Wales, one in each half, to help them to a vital win. And speaking after that one, head coach Stuart Maynard said every game is important heading into the final few matches, praising the way his side saw off a strong Newport team.
Up there, because obviously the games are running out and we've talked about it. That was our 8th, there's 7 now, and I think that was a really big performance. A clean sheet, which is always pleasing, but I think in the end, we made it so comfortable in the second half. They didn't really have any efforts at our goal. We didn't really have anything defensively to really worry about, and they've got the 5th best home record in the league, so they're a very good team at home. And on that form, if they just won a few away from home, they'd be right up there in the mix. So we knew coming here today was going to be a really tough test. They've got a lot of pace that can hurt you on the break, but I thought we executed the game plan and coped with it brilliantly.
And the flip side of that is that Notts County are a very good team away from home. They've got more points away from home than at home this season. If they just got a few more points at home, they would have secured this automatic promotion spot by now. So why are Notts finding it harder at home than away from home?
I don't know. I've not got a clue, because I've said all along Notts County should be getting promoted automatic in this league this year. The standards of the teams. In the league, I've not seen any team that really go, wow, they're going to really run away with it. Are they a bit edgy? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's up, you know, that's what the manager gets paid for. He knows the players, he knows them inside out, he works with them every day. So it's up to the manager to say. And I still think Notts County will get promoted because of the players they've got.
Yeah.
So it's up to him, like you say, to get winning those games at home.
What's the difference as a player playing at home, playing away from home? How did you feel when you were playing?
Home comforts, you know your stadium, you know your fans. You don't have to travel. You know you're there. It's one of them ones where people say that it's just a football pitch. Why is it different? Fans do make a difference. That's without a doubt. I can't put the question on why that's the case, why they can't perform at home at the minute. Like Chaz just said, I think that's down to the manager to find that out. You know, sometimes when you're going through a tough time, but Notts aren't going through a tough time, don't get me wrong, it could be better, but when you're going through a tough time and the fans are on your back, sometimes you want to be away from home, you know, but that isn't the case here, so it's a bit of a sticky one. But yeah, it's something that I can't put my finger on that.
There's a couple of scenarios. A lot of teams, because of the respect they show Notts County, the team they've got and the players, they sit back. They really sit back and it's quite difficult to break them down and they hit Notts on the break. But when Notts go away, the teams will come out a bit more. So there's more openings and stuff like that.
But Chaz, though, as a manager, if that's the case, which I'm sure it is, and if teams are coming to Meadow Lane and they're sitting back, shouldn't the manager then throughout that week find a way to break that down?
Exactly.
Because if it's happening probably 10 times a season, maybe more, then you go, right, this is what's happened. We did it at Forest. When we played at the City Ground, teams would always, especially when it was in League One, teams would just come and sit, and it'd be so frustrating. But then you find a way. You move the ball quicker. You find a way.
That is a good point. Moving that tempo, move it quick passing. You know.
And that's where they've missed Jody Jones and your old mate David McGoldrick for parts of this season.
And again, David sets up one of the goals again. He's a talisman. Massive game for them with MK Dons. Interesting game because they're not very good either, but Notts are playing at home. They've got Crowley coming back. I'm sure the Notts fans they'll be shouting a few expletives at Crowley for leaving them in January. So he'll be out, and you know he's a cocky little character. Like you know he'll be wanting to get on the ball, wind them up, and he'll be wanting to try and score a goal or make a goal. So it's going to be interesting. It's an interesting game, but again, nobody wants to get promoted in that league. They keep beating each other.
Isn't it?
Everybody keeps beating each other.
I'm looking at the form now. Wow, it's only Port Vale, I think, that's in a little bit of form. The top two, top two.
Wow. You know, we're not sure, but when you've got the league leaders not winning in five
games,
it's absolutely crazy. Let's have a look at the table, Kelvin. And also in the coming weeks, teams have got to play each other. We don't see their top Walsall 72 points from 40, Bradford City 70 from 40. But Port Vale are playing Walsall at the weekend, so there's points going to be dropped there. Notts County, you see just how important that game in hand is really if they're serious about just grabbing hold of that automatic promotion place. You sort of think it's got to be a win over MK Dons. But it's a crazy division and it's so hard to predict, I think.
Oh, massively. But again, it's who blinks first, who dares wins, who's got the heart, who's got the desire, who's got the bottle to go out and go and do it. You know, that's it. Run that extra yard running forward. When you're chasing back to defend, run back even quicker. When the ball goes in the box, the determination to go and attack it in your own box and get it out, because that's been a problem for Notts County. When balls have went in the box, have not defended them very well, heading them out. And when it goes in the other box, the determination to score a goal in the middle of that pitch, go and win that battle in the middle of the pitch, which is important. Oh, I've got a great saying. If you win the battle, you'll go on to win the war.
Okay.
And that's like everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying there, the form, I'm just looking at it, Walsall, top of the table, not 1 in 5. Bradford second, 1 win in 5. Port Vale, the form team, 4 wins out of 5. Doncaster, 1 win out of 5. Wimbledon, 1 win out of 5. And that puts Notts County's form in context. Notts County, 2 wins out of 5.
And I think that comes down to us saying, like, the business end of the season, players need to step up. It's you hear it so many times, and as a player sometimes you roll your eyes when you hear the manager saying it in team meetings, like, oh. But I think from not playing anymore and looking from the outside in, and I look back on times when I've been at that situation, it's so true. You know, like Chaz just said, it's having the battle, winning the battle and having a bottle. Concentration is a massive thing as well. You know, like Forest last night, Murillo clearing that ball off the line last minute or whatever it was. Concentration.
You don't need to win.
Body's tired. Yeah, his body's tired, but his concentration's there and he's in the right place and he's put his foot through it. So there's loads of little things that they need to do. But obviously in that league, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if the players the pressure's getting to them, but that's a crazy stat that is. Yeah.
Or they're all at such a level. But I think Notts County. I know they're Jody Jones, but they've got a special player in David McGoldrick. Yeah. And I don't think any other team in that league have got a special player like David McGoldrick.
Let's have a look at the fixtures to come then for Notts County. see what we're thinking about the next few weeks. Home to MK Dons, Colchester United, who were in decent form, but they've dropped off recently. Home to Salford, and then Bradford City again, team that were in form. That a couple of weeks ago you just said, oh, that's a tricky one, but they can't win a game now.
I'm looking at that, right, and I do fancy Notts, right, but again...
For automatic?
Yes, yes, come on, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. You know.
I think we've got to get promoted this year. I think,
go for it.
You know, it's we've either played last year and where they finished and things like that. I think this year that they're making it really hard for themselves. But yeah, I think it's.
And signed a keeper this week, Tyler Miller, 32-year-old American.
I don't know nothing about him. I quite like Slocum. I think he's okay. So I don't know if.
But it's a good backup to have in the run-up, isn't it? Somebody he's played at a decent level in the States. Played under Wayne Rooney at DC United.
Is he backup?
Well, we don't know. Let's see.
It's going to be an interesting one
sheet.
because if you're Sam Slocum and he sticks the lad straight in the team, you're thinking you've lost a player.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Right, time now for our weekend predictions. Starting with Forest, who are away to Aston Villa.
Draw. Take a draw all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same 1-1 draw.
Yeah, which would be a decent end to a pretty tough week, isn't it? Yeah. Mansfield Town away at Huddersfield Town.
Draw.
Which you'd take as well, wouldn't you?
You would take as well. No, they're going through a bad patch, but listen, they're the next Premier League club. You know, or you take a draw, maybe edge a win. They're not bad away from home, Mansfield.
Yeah. I'm going to say a draw as well. I'm following Chaz again.
Yeah, goodness me. We're going to go off the fence anyway. Mansfield Town next week, home on Tuesday night against Leyton Orient.
I'm going to go for a win on that one.
Yes.
I'm going to go for the 4 points. I don't
Which
care.
take.
I don't care.
I
don't care what way they round.
Yeah,
like,
I think this time it's the home game. I think they'll win as well. Yeah.
And Notts County away from home against Colchester United.
Away win. Right, away win.
Same Notts. Yeah, Notts win.
Brilliant. That's a good way to end. Charlie, on my social media feed this week, Forest against Notts County, 1984. Martin O'Neill playing for Notts County, 0-0. 3 and 4 minutes of highlights coming up. But you were number 12. You were on the bench.
Were you? Oh, cheers for that. Yeah, I did play a few games. I did play a few games in the top league. Yeah. Scored a few goals as well. But thanks for that. Never came up with one and played them when I bent the one in the top corner against Manchester United and we beat them 3-2 at home.
Yeah, go and have another one then.
Oh, well, there's another fair. When the Sunderland won. Well, listen, there's hundreds. There's hundreds. I'm not going to carry on like that.
I suppose what I want to say is like there was a fantastic atmosphere at Notts County that day, and if they can repeat that in the run up to the end of the season, then that'd be fantastic.
Listen, we were in the top league then. We were like flat. You know, we were.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you, Kelvin. Great to have you with us again. Thank you very much for watching. We're back at the same time next week for the next Team Talk, so I'll see you then. Bye-bye.